The pinch of change. He waited for luck to find him until life whispered, "Stand up and make your own." In a quiet, beautiful village named Haripur, where the air smelled of wet soil after rain, and children's laughter floated through the breeze, lived a young man named Veer. He was bright, strong, and kind hearted, but he carried a heavy weakness, laziness. Every morning, when the sun painted the sky gold and villagers started their work, we sat under the old banyan tree near the pond, doing absolutely nothing. The farmers plowed their fields, the women spun thread, and the potter shaped clay, but we only stayed at the water, dreaming of success that would somehow walk to his door. His mother would sigh and call from the porch, "Weed, don't waste your time. The only boat catches the worm." But he would grin and reply lazily, "Why hurry, ma? What's written for me will come anyway." He believed that luck alone could change his life, but as the elders say, he who waits for luck waits forever. One year, during the monsoon, the sky darkened and the wind roared like a wild beast. For 2 days, rain poured endlessly, flooding fields and washing away everything in its path. When the storm finally ended, the peaceful Haripur looked like a land of ruins, broken roofs, fallen trees, and destroyed crops. V's father, a skilled carpenter known for his fine work, had spent the whole night trying to save their little workshop. By morning, he felt terribly ill, his health shattered. The shop was damaged, the tools were rusted, and their wooden furniture lay soaked and ruined. For the first time, we saw fear in his parents' eyes. His mother whispered, "We will have to sell some of our valuable things, our old clock, the brass lamps, and your father's wooden carvings." We stood speechless, watching his mother give away those precious items broke something inside him. He felt ashamed of all the days he had wasted sitting idly, while his parents worked and struggled. That night, he wandered into the broken workshop. The smell of wet wood filled the air. On a table stood his father's unfinished rocking chair, a piece that had once been his pride. We ran his fingers over its rough edges and said softly, "If only I knew how to finish it." From behind came his father's weak voice, "Son, wood doesn't shape itself. You must lift the tools and carve it. Life is the same. If you sit idle, it will rot like this wood." The next morning, before the sun had even risen, we stepped into the workshop. He cleaned the dust, picked up the old chisel, and began working. His hands were clumsy, his cuts were crooked, and blisters soon covered his fingers. But he didn't stop. At first, he failed miserably. The stool he tried to make broke in two. The villagers laughed and said, "The lazy boy thinks he is a carpenter now." But we didn't listen. For the first time in his life, he had a purpose. Day after day, he practiced. He learned to measure carefully, to cut with patience, and to polish with care. Slowly, the workshop came back to life. The sound of hammer and chisel filled the air again. He started small, repairing broken chairs, fixing old shelves, and building simple tables. His customers were few, but his dedication was strong. His mother often stood on the porch, smiling proudly. "My son," she said, "you have finally found your rhythm." One sunny afternoon, a city trader named Raghunath came to Haripur. He was looking for wooden crafts to sell his store. When he passed by V's workshop, a beautifully carved cradle caught his eye. The cradle was simple but elegant, made with love and skill. "Who made this?" the trader asked. "I did, sir," V replied humbly. Raghunath examined it carefully and smiled. "You have magic in your hands, young man." Come to this city and work with me. You will earn well and learn more. Veer hesitated. He looked at his weak father, lying on the bed, but his father said gently, "Go, son. You have learned to stand on your feet. Now learn to walk further." With a heavy heart and a head full of dreams, we left Haripur the next morning. The city was busy and full of challenges. People moved fast, and competition was everywhere. We struggled at first. He made mistakes, worked long hours, and sometimes thought of giving up. But he remembered his father's words, "Don't sit idle." He observed the best carpenters, learned how to use modern tools, and understood how to speak kindly to customers. He realized that skill alone wasn't enough. One needed confidence and honesty too. Whenever customers doubted his work, he would say with a smile, "Sir, this chair is not just wood, it's comfort carved with care." His sincerity touched people's heart. Slowly, his name spread. After a few years, he opened his own workshop called Wooden Dreams. It became one of the most trusted shops in the city. Every piece of furniture told a story, struggle, patience, and determination. Years later, we returned to Haripur. The banyan tree still stood tall, shading the same dusty path. But this time, we didn't sit under it doing nothing. He placed beneath it a finely carved wooden bench, the first he ever made in his own city shop. The villagers gathered around, amazed at how the once idle boy had become the pride of the village. A child asked, "Veer uncle, how did you become so successful?" Veer smiled and said, "When I stopped waiting for luck and started working, my life changed." Remember, if you sit idle, even your shadow will leave you. But if you move forward, life walks beside you. The crowd fell silent, his words sinking deep into their hearts. The sun dipped low, painting the sky in gold, and the bench under the banyan tree became a symbol of effort, hope, and change. Never sit idle waiting for good times to arrive. Success doesn't come to those who wait, it comes to those who work. So, dear listeners, as the old saying goes, an idle mind is the devil's workshop, but busy hands build miracles.